I would like to talk to you guys about non-NASCAR beer. I'm in California. This is what I'm drinking. Golden State, whatever the fuck. When I got here to California, the people I'm with, Tenicor, they had all craft beer. I'm still drinking craft beer. I don't like craft beer. Death to craft beer. Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Light, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Tecate, Modelo. There you go. That's half a dozen.
Rainier.
We're done.
What about
So this was the rental car person's personal car they're renting us.
Well, it's like her employee benefit car, I think, is the deal. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like she works at the rental place and she was like, where are you going? You're not taking it off the road.
about to take just a little quick trip down south to an undisclosed location, and Jeff's going to take a shooting class. Should be fun. And by short trip, I mean 20 hours. So there's supposed to be Apple Play on this bad boy, but I couldn't figure it out.
That's Lucy, that's the lady that works there. I think that's me.
That's me. That's why it's playing jazz. Oh wait, hold on. Don't connect to Bluetooth. Okay.
Don't delete. Oh, she's gonna get mad at you.
You keep saying, like, why am I so angry?
Oh, I'm playing now.
And it was kind of the wake-up call for me because
Devin, I'm filming you now. Now you know what it feels like.
I don't know if see, to how you avoid being in front of the camera is you get a job where you're behind the camera. So you have to see this ugly.
I'm not zooming in because I don't know how. I'm literally moving the camera. I'm just pushing it forward. You got this cool wood handle on it though. So there's the boss right there.
You gotta make sure.
Not even doing it. He's on a fucking phone call.
That's right, I'm on an important phone call.
I'll do whatever the hell I want. Hey, Kyle Defoor, Defoor Proformance Shooting. Tomorrow we're starting 2-day carbine class. Training with an instructor is important because, you know, I think I would give this analogy to people. I mean, all of us are probably capable of, you know, name something, painting your house or, you know, putting up a new light or what. Yeah, we can all do it, but at a certain point, the industrial, what I would call the industrial side of it, you know, I do this for a living. It's all I do. I don't do anything else. I train shooting and I train tactics. So because I do it so much with thousands of students a year, people should seek out somebody like that because we're gonna be able to cut down the amount of time and money people are spending to get the result they want. It's self-discovery, right? They do it themselves, but it takes them a long period of time to find the solution they're looking for, whereas a lot of times we can do it in a day or two, just because that's what we do. And when you look at the numbers that I'm putting through, you know, typically speaking, it's 250 to 300 open enrollment a year, and somewhere around, you know, 1,500 to 1,800 military to LE a year. I've already seen all the problems. It's not like anything you're gonna show me that I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before. And I can cut that time down. And for all of us, time is the biggest commodity, right? Every class is different. Like the class I just left in Northern California, certain type of weather, certain type of range, and that group of students, it's never the same. Obviously down here it's gonna be way hotter, different range, and then the students are always different. That's what I always look forward to. You never know where you're gonna get. To me, that's the sign of a true quote unquote pro shooter. I've rolled into classes before where out of the gate, the guys are like, I'm talking about from the first 10, 15, 20 rounds they shoot, you're like, okay, this is a high performing class. So automatically, if you're not really good at your craft, these guys are gonna be bored. You've got to bring the A game. You've got to make good guys great. I like the unknown personally. That's what I like. That keeps me on my toes. That's what makes a good instructor, is when you can go in anywhere and make people better with what you're doing. That's what makes you good. That means I've got a stack of stuff from new shooter to experienced, and I haven't ran into anything yet that's thrown me a curveball. So that's it. All right, so if you look at the fucked upness here, so yeah. All right, so here's one of the things about doing this kind of job. We get to this range, we're supposed to have a 100-yard range for carbine, right? Well, that range isn't available anymore. And it really doesn't matter the reason, whether it's, a landslide, a mudslide, something caved in, whatever. This happens in this world. So now this is what we were stuck with. You look around here, this is not really that suitable for what we're doing. But what we could do is we got 50 yards out of it. So we got all of our targets up. We put this thing at an angle. So coming back right here, we've got 7 yards on the first cone, 25 yards on the second cone. This is the 50-yard line back here. So this will turn into, quote unquote, almost an urban carbine class rather than any long distance, because we just simply don't have the distance. So I would tell people, if you're gonna do this for a living, prepare for stuff like this and have a plan, because it's going to happen. A couple things that stick out: really hot today, hence the long sleeves all buttoned up. Probably around 90, no shade on the range at all, so definitely hot. A lot of wind today, that was another thing. The day kind of started out, I would call it the quote unquote normal carbine. I go over gun setup pretty extensively. I started at the front of the gun and worked my way to the rear. About that point, you had some guys who realized, maybe some stuff I have isn't really set up correctly, so they changed it. From there, we start zeroing the guns out and doing fundamentals of accuracy in the prone. So we got everybody for accuracy 90 and above, except for one guy. We had one guy show up with an iron-sighted, underslung rifle. Guy going with iron sights, and everybody else has got a red dot to magnifier or an LPVO. We had to give him some extra reps, because it's just making the adjustments and whatnot. A lot of guys weren't too sure on adjustments on their reticle. So whether we had RDSs, whether we had irons, whether we had LPVOs, and of course with LPVOs, we usually have 3 options of adjustments. So getting those kind of squared away to where these guys could make their own adjustments, took a little bit of time. So, a couple of hours into this, we've gone over the fundamentals of prone, and then as these guys are scoring and I'm seeing their scores, I kind of break them down to where, hey, I want you to start doing this faster or that faster. The end result being, at the end of that prone session, is we want to start in a standing position, drop down the prone as fast as possible, and shoot as fast as possible on a really small target. Eye-opening for a lot of guys. Some guys were probably surprised at how well they did. A lot of that based on how much we kind of loaded the fundamentals and how much we repped out the correct fundamentals. From there, we kind of rolled in some other positions, kneeling and some sitting, and then we did standing at the end of the day. We worked some speed in there, had the guys doing some reloads, some different manipulations where they're working the safety from different ready positions. Also showed these guys some kind of cadence drills, like how to shoot at speed, different size targets, whether it's a 1 second split or maybe a 3/4 second split or half-second split, etc. At the same time, we kind of burned some reps for a lot of the guys who do this for a living, the cops, the mill guys, like how to make a gun work for you on a person. And you could relate that to an animal as well, but basically how to make killing shots on stuff. So that was kind of the end of day one. So I think overall the day, I mean, I had some pretty positive comments at the end. I think a lot of this, I mean, I tell people a lot, I don't run out of stuff to do, especially in a 2-day class. So I know it's drinking out of a fire hose for a lot of people, and it's probably going to be a day or two from now before they actually kind of are able to go over all the stuff I went over and go, yep, I remember this, yep, I remember that, and we still got a day to go.
No. No. And when he was talking about $6,000, right?
It's like throwing a rock out there. Yeah, it is interesting. So the information that he puts out is excellent. I had a lot of fun. So most of my time shooting and teaching was all rifle and not handgun, actually. And I really like 50 to 200, 300 yard rifle work with like a red dot and maybe a magnifier. I think that's super fun. That is totally it's not sexy, right? Because it's not like up close and fast and all that stuff. But if you can do that and you're like legit at like real rifleman stuff, the close in stuff is super easy. I'm mostly like writing down his things that he says that stick out to me, right? Because I'm always learning and thinking about things differently. And then I'm also writing down, basically trying to write down the progression of skills. So that's as an instructor, a big piece is like, how do you go from, A to Z? And do you just go from random thing to random thing? Or do all of those skills build upon themselves? And in Kyle's, he is a pro shooter. He's been doing this a long time. And he's very intentional about his progression of skills. As Kyle would say, the truth belongs to everybody, but lies belong to the individual, right? And so you have people who perform at a high level doing a similar thing, and they have developed that skill set separately. They're probably pretty similar, actually, in how they approach it and go about doing certain things.
How's Jeff now as a student?
Jeff Mao is one of the most arrogant, self-centered, horrible students I've ever seen. He speaks constantly. I don't know. It's like Spicoli from fucking. Is that an outtake right there? Jeff's sitting like right there. He's got Jeff cam on. Jeff Mao is a student, honestly, so Jeff can shoot. So, like, he's mostly just burning reps, to be honest with you. I mean, here's the deal, like everybody, like pro shooter or pro instructor, we can look at a guy within sub 30 seconds. I can tell you what it's going to be like. From the way he holds it, first off the gun, I can look at the gun and go, that guy, no, it's no. Or I look at the gun, I'm like, and then once he picks it up, just him holding it, I can tell, sub 30 seconds, I can tell you whether the guy can shoot or not. That probably means I've been doing this too long. All right, I gotta get a run. Give me a run. All right, here we go.
Hold on. You've got to wrap.
All right, I gotta get a run. 129?
Bye.
Oh, miss, left side. Fuck. 129. Oh, that's fucking impressive.
I would say that was probably the best well-rounded Kyle experience that I've had for a class. If there's not video of me eating an apple as we're talking about stuff, I'm gonna be pretty mad. What was the thing that I did yesterday that was like totally lame?
Oh, you dropped the mag when you came out of prone or something?
Something like that, yeah.
And you were like, did you get that? And I was
yeah,
like,
100% that needs to be a video, right? If we don't make that stuff, then whatever you can do to make me look funny.
I mean, I'll be honest, those are my favorite videos to make.
Yeah.
It's just, those are
And Jeff struggles with his ego, so we've got to work on breaking that down.
For sure. 100%.
We are talking
Day
about
2 carbine.
end of day 2 carbine.
All right.
How you feeling?
I'm sunburnt, I'm tired, and I'm hoarse. But other than that, it's pretty typical for a 2-day class. We started out today with some combatives that complement the rifle. What guys can do, if they've got a rifle on, somebody grabs it. If they've got a rifle on, it's not a situation they can shoot, things like that. So we did a lot of hand stuff, just what I would call my basic jiu-jitsu kind of things that most anybody that's been doing BJJ for a while knows. Some elbow stuff. We worked our way into some blade work, some Sayat Kali specific stuff with a fixed blade. That was a good start to it. Seemed like everybody dug it. From there, we rolled into moving with a carbine. So when I say moving with a carbine, not shooting on the move, we actually did that later in the day. But just like, how can I move with this gun from point A to point B and take shots? So I gave the guys a few different ways they can carry the gun safely. We did some stuff at distance, running to another yard line, taking some shots, running to another yard line, taking some shots. So burn those reps. Next thing we did was multiple target drills. Each shooter has 3 targets. Working a lot on target transitions, horizontal target transitions. With that, also do a little bit of tempo change by changing the target size. So you could replicate that and look at it as in depth, a smaller target size. So for example, a target at 20 yards and another target at 50 yards, or in some of the cases they were doing today, it's a credit card shot in the head on a USPSA target and a body shot. That's where guys are kind of bringing a lot of the ready positions together. There's a lot of reloads going on because it's a decently high round count. I'm having guys shoot at least 2 to 3 rounds per target. From there, we went to hostage targets and just a drill that I run that I came up with another guy, JD Patinsky from Northern Red. We've been running that drill since 09 or 10. We came up with it. So guys really have to process. It's not just your classic, turn a white cardboard out kind of hostage thing. It's more of a higher level hostage type shooting situation. That seemed to be real cool for people. That's also the first time the students are kind of training with each other because they're telling each other what to do. After that, we did some shooting on the move, both shooting on the move right, left, forward, and I set that up in a way so that guys can get as many reps as they want. I took a little break. We talked mindset for a bit, just a template on how to, it's not a war story. It's not I didn't give up kind of talk. It's literally a formula of how to be successful mindset-wise with really any subject you want to come up with. Got done with that, and then the final thing I did at the end of the day, and it kind of encapsulates all that I'm trying to show these guys. I've shown these guys the whole time, like how to train, how to dry fire, how to train yourself. But what I end up doing at the end of the day is they end up timing each other on a multitude of different skills with the rifle and recording all these times. So we have a lot of hardcore data return on accuracy from the first day, and now on the second day, these guys end up with, hundreds of data points. But now, at the end of that, they've done that for an hour, hour and a half, and they really understand how to train themselves and another person. But it was good. I mean, I think the students, is super positive feedback. One of the classes that asked better questions than a lot, and that was kind of refreshing on my side. It was good, man. Enjoyed it. Southern California weather. I would like to tell the camera right now that 2 people here from Tenicor Media have never seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. It's 2022. I find this very hard to believe, but it is true. So what do you think we're watching tonight? The Wolf of Wall Street. One of the greatest movies of all time. It's happening.
Come on. With a common denominator.
for me. See how we roll. How the money comes in, the parade comes to town. Going down Broadway, it's a one-way street.
The funny thing is, when you spend a lot of time in SoCal and it rains like this is the equivalent of like the South getting snow.
Oh yeah.
Like they just, it's like they'll do, you know, this can't drive in. It's fucking bizarre.
My cousin was telling me he had employees
like
calling
preschool's
out.
closed. It's like it's rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the craziest shit you've ever seen.
You also see how poorly like the
Yeah, your roads are not made for it.
No.
Because they're not, see back
Nobody
east,
thinks
we
about
have the
drainage.
fucking lines in there and all the roads are fucking peaked in the middle. Out here it's flat as
dude,
fuck and
yeah.
everything's smooth pavement.
standing water like a foot in the middle like the valley.
And there'll be
It's
some
all
dude
flat.
doing 90 down the fucking interstate. You're like, yeah, how long is this gonna last?
Yeah.
Right?
So today was first day of pistol class, but we obviously you can tell by the way I'm dressed. We dealt with some weather. We got about, I don't know, an hour of shooting in dry, and then the rain started. Of course, I looked at the weather, yesterday. We knew it was going to be like this. So what I did on the instructor side of it is I flipped the curriculum a little bit to make it so that what we did today was at least doable, because there's some things in a learning environment that are just not going to be good to do in bad weather like that. The rain picked up once it started. It started kind of like a mist, light rain, heavy rain. Probably shot in the heavy rain for maybe hour-ish. But yeah, after that it was going to be a negative return. A lot of guys, about half the class is concealed carry, so their appendix inside the waistband or 3 o'clock inside the waistband. Those draw strokes get a little bit weird in the rough weather like that. A lot of guys, like me included, the hands are starting to go a little bit numb. 46 or whatever doesn't feel that cold, or sound that cold, but when you got that rain and we had that wind, the wind here is a constant. So the guys got a lot of cadence drills, learned how to shoot splits, learned ready positions. And I've kind of mentioned this in a couple other videos, like, I try to help people out a little bit, like guys that are getting in the industry or whatever. If you go to a 2-day class, you need 5 days of curriculum. Because I've had weirder things happen, like the targets don't show up. The target building that we started burned down overnight. You show up the next day, there's nothing there. So you've got to have a way to make this thing work, right? These people paid money for this, time, ammo, etc. And we got to a point where I was going to go for about another 30 or 45 minutes, but there was a couple people hurt, and then when you see that, especially with pistol, it's just not worth it, man. One of the things that was on the range, a little bit weird, there's like an 18-wheeler trailer. It's just, I don't know why it's there. It's at the back of the range. It's up on blocks. It's just the trailer portion, and the back doors are open. So I decided that, I saw it yesterday, and I was like, if I had to, I could do a class in there. Well, today I had to. So we went in there and just did a class just to get those guys out of the weather. We're out of the rain, we're out of the cold, we're out of the wind, and was able to do a class in there that they were going to get anyway. And that was a good time, let everybody warm up and kind of get their stuff together. So, but if we had to go all day in it, I had a plan for that too. I think I do a pretty good job of telling people how to prep for the class. They get an email before the class, and it literally says, check GPS for whatever mapping service you're using. Look at the overhead, find where the range is, because a lot of times addresses are off. Google versus Apple, it might be a little off, right? I put that in the email. Another thing I put in the email, always come with, bad weather layers. Some good lessons learned for sure with gear there. We went straight to combatives after that. We talked about the blade. We were able to find an indoor classroom, basically where we're at right now. And I went through all the combatives that I would normally do on day 2, but I did them today. So for the students, it's probably not, a lot of them are probably gonna be like, it was fine, like no big deal. To me, I'll probably lose sleep over it tonight. I do not like going out of a progressional order that I think makes common sense. But the way that I'm doing it, it's not too bad. We finished up today, I took advantage of what I was given here. There happens to be a big screen TV in the classroom. So I showed the guys a couple of videos that kind of apply to some of the stuff we've done today and that could apply to them in the future. So that was kind of a bonus that I normally don't do, because I really never normally leave the range. It's a pretty good rep for me as an instructor. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, so it's really not a big deal, but like I can see a new instructor dealing with this kind of stuff, and if they're hell-bent on doing things in that progressional order, you know, you're probably not gonna really have that good of a turnaround. I would never cancel for weather, there's no way. Tomorrow's gonna be sunny and you know, tomorrow's gonna be Southern California, sunny and 70.
Stand by. It's buried under an avalanche of mistakes. Can he recover?
It's in. 144.
Do you have a Zen?
Shooter ready.
What do you think about today? Today was awesome. We did some accuracy, 25-yard bulls. I had one guy who gained 78 points, which is probably the most I've ever seen. He actually shot a 0 at first. Got him up to a 78. I had, how many guys got a hat today? That would be 10 rounds from the draw, under 15 seconds for a red dot and under 20 for irons. I want to say 6. I think we ended up with, out of 15 total shooters, we ended up with 12 who shot 90 or above at some point. There were only 4 that shot 90 or above at the beginning. So that was way cool to see. A lot of those guys have not been exposed to any kind of accuracy standard like that, and for sure not at speed. Ammo, we had some ammo issues, pretty common in the 9mm world. A lot of 9mm won't hit for accuracy. It's fine for up close, but you know, we kind of talked about that. I had some guys borrow ammo just for a couple of runs from their buddy, just so they can see really it's not them at that particular moment. A lot of good feedback from some of the guys. Had some Long Beach guys in here, LBC, so that was kind of cool. I had some LA Sheriff's Department dudes, pretty cool. We were very LE heavy here, and so I really took the time to kind of make it, you know, worth their while and give some extra stuff that's more LE specific. We did the draw next, so everything was a little off on this class just because of the weather we dealt with yesterday. And as you can see, it's still pretty chilly here. From there, multiple target drills so guys can get some reps in with the draw stroke, doing some horizontal target transitions and moving eyes. And we've talked a lot visually about what they're looking for both on the iron sight and the red dot. From there, we rolled into hostage targets and the way that I do them. It's the J.D. Patinsky / Kyle Defoor method of doing hostage targets. A little bit of shooting on the move, just making sure those guys understand why they're doing shooting on the move, the biggest reasons why they're doing it, and also, you know, efficient ways to do it. And I set that up so they can get as many reps as they want. We talked a little bit of mindset, you know, the template, the classic Sayat Kali template of how to take a problem and kind of work through it. Really info for those guys. That was pretty good. Got a lot of good feedback on that. We finished the day with having the students train each other. They time each other. They're looking for hits, misses on certain specific skills. By the end of the day, in 2-day class, those guys have data points on accuracy at distance, speed at distance, speed up close, accuracy up close, and split times for multiple rounds. I was very surprised by this. I had a few of the guys pull me aside and tell me that, you know, as far as classes go, they learn more in this than they ever have. So, and I know those guys have trained with a lot of people. So I was pretty stoked about that. And, you know, that's humbling. You know, it really is. And the curriculum just continues to kind of evolve. I mean, this is not the same pistol class it was 6 months ago, and it might change 6 months from now. It just kind of depends on what I can get, what I can squeeze out of every little student along the way. It was good times. Is that thing on? Leave it on. All right, here you go. Bring it to me. Watch this. Are you filming right now? It's filming. All right, watch this. Check this out. Where's the fucking viewfinder? There you go. John, raise your hand. Ian. Jeff. It's got a fucking crosshair on it. That's pretty cool. It's like a fucking scope. Devin. This is Tenicor Media. Now you guys know what it fucking feels like, right?
These are the guys that make all those cool videos. Bye-bye.